The name Basil II echoes through the halls of history. Known as the Bulgar Slayer, his legacy is one of both admiration and fear. His reign was a defining period for the Byzantine Empire, marked by relentless ambition and military prowess. He is known as the Bulgar Slayer, a title earned through decades of relentless warfare. Basil II's campaigns against the Bulgarian Empire were not just battles. They were a testament to his strategic genius and unyielding determination. Basil II was the Emperor of Byzantium, the mighty empire that preserved Roman power in the east. His rule began in 976 AD, and he quickly set his sights on expanding and securing his empire's borders. He fought long and hard against the Bulgarian Empire. The conflict was not just about territory, it was a struggle for dominance in the region. Basil's military campaigns were meticulously planned and executed with ruthless efficiency. His reign was marked by brutal conflicts. The wars against the Bulgarians were some of the bloodiest in medieval history. Basil's forces laid siege to cities, engaged in fierce battles, and left a trail of devastation in their wake. These wars would decide the fate of two empires. The Byzantine and Bulgarian forces clashed repeatedly, each battle more intense than the last. The outcome of these conflicts would shape the future of Eastern Europe for centuries to come. By the time of Basil's death in 1025 AD, Byzantium stood triumphant. His victories had secured the empire's dominance in the region, but they came at a great cost. But the cost of victory was high. The wars had drained the empire's resources and left a legacy of destruction. The human toll was immense, with countless lives lost on both sides. And the methods used by the Bulgar Slayer would secure his place as one of history's most ruthless rulers. His tactics, though effective, were often brutal, earning him a fearsome reputation that endures to this day. Basil II was born into power. He came into the world in 958 AD. His grandfather, Constantine VII, sat on the throne of Byzantium. This made Basil a member of the Macedonian dynasty. They were a family that had ruled Byzantium for over a century. But Basil's early life was not easy. Imperial courts were dangerous places. Intrigue and violence were common. Young Basil witnessed it all. He learned the art of survival in the world's most powerful court. These early lessons would serve him well. They would help shape him into the emperor he would become. The Byzantine Empire and the Bulgarian Empire had been fierce rivals for centuries. They frequently battled for control of the Balkans. The Bulgarians, under their formidable Tsar Samuel, posed a serious threat to Byzantine power. Samuel was a skilled warrior and a cunning strategist, known for his tactical brilliance. He had significantly expanded Bulgarian territory at Byzantium's expense. When Basil II became emperor in 976, he inherited this ongoing conflict. He swore to defeat Samuel and crush the Bulgarian threat once and for all. This was a monumental task that would consume him for decades. It would test his resolve and his capacity for unparalleled ruthlessness. Basil II knew that victory required more than just courage. He understood the importance of a strong and disciplined army. Basil implemented a series of military reforms. He reorganized the Byzantine army. He improved training and he updated equipment. Basil also understood the importance of logistics. He ensured his troops were well supplied. These reforms took time to bear fruit, but they would eventually transform the Byzantine army. It would become a force capable of defeating any enemy. To break a nation, the road to Kleidion. The war between Byzantium and Bulgaria raged for years. There were victories and defeats on both sides. Basil II proved to be a tenacious and ruthless opponent. He campaigned relentlessly. He was determined to break the back of Bulgarian resistance. Basil employed scorched earth tactics. He devastated the Bulgarian countryside. His aim was to deprive Samuel's forces of supplies. He also used psychological warfare. He spread fear and doubt among his enemies. This was all part of Basil's strategy of attrition. He would grind down the Bulgarians until they could fight no more. Kleidion, a victory forged in terror. The Battle of Kleidion in 1014 AD was a turning point in Basil's war against the Bulgarians. This battle was not just a mere clash of armies, it was a confrontation that would shape the future of the region. The Byzantine Empire, under the leadership of Emperor Basil II, sought to reassert its dominance over the Balkans, while the Bulgarian Empire, led by Tsar Samuel, aimed to resist Byzantine control and maintain its sovereignty. The Byzantine army, under Basil's command, decisively defeated Tsar Samuel's forces. The strategic brilliance of Basil II and the disciplined execution by his troops led to a crushing victory. The battlefield was a testament to the might and determination of the Byzantine forces who fought with unwavering resolve to secure their empire's future. The battle was a bloody affair. The clash of swords, the cries of the wounded, and the relentless push of the Byzantine soldiers created a scene of chaos and carnage. The ground was soaked with the blood of thousands of soldiers, and the air was thick with the stench of death. Thousands of Bulgarians were killed. The sheer scale of the casualties was staggering, and the battlefield was littered with the bodies of the fallen. The loss of life was immense, and the impact on the Bulgarian forces was devastating. But it was after the battle that Basil II earned his chilling epithet. Known as Basil the Bulgar Slayer, his actions following the victory at Kleidion would cement his legacy as a ruthless and formidable ruler. His decision to deal with the captured Bulgarian soldiers was both strategic and terrifying. He ordered 15,000 Bulgarian prisoners to be blinded. This act of cruelty was intended to send a clear message to the Bulgarian Empire and to break their will to resist. The blinding was carried out systematically with precision and cold efficiency. Every 100th man was left with a single eye. These partially blinded soldiers were tasked with leading their comrades back to Tsar Samuel. The sight of these mutilated men was meant to instill fear and despair in the hearts of the Bulgarians. They were to lead their comrades back to Tsar Samuel. The journey back was a harrowing one, with the blinded soldiers relying on their one-eyed leaders to guide them. The psychological impact of this march was profound as the soldiers grappled with their new reality. Samuel was horrified by the sight. The return of his blinded soldiers was a devastating blow to his morale and his spirit. The once proud Tsar was now faced with the grim reality of his army's defeat and the brutal consequences of their resistance. He suffered a heart attack and died shortly after. The shock and grief of seeing his mutilated soldiers were too much for Samuel to bear. His death marked the end of an era for the Bulgarian Empire and the beginning of a new chapter in Byzantine dominance. The sight of his blinded army broke him. The psychological toll on the Bulgarian forces was immense, and the loss of their leader only compounded their despair. The once formidable Bulgarian army was now a shadow of its former self, crippled by the loss of its soldiers and its Tsar. The psychological impact of Kleidion was devastating. It shattered Bulgarian morale. The defeat at Kleidion and the subsequent blinding of their soldiers left the Bulgarian forces demoralized and weakened. The once proud empire was now struggling to maintain its cohesion and strength. The Bulgarians never truly recovered. The Battle of Kleidion marked the beginning of the end for the Bulgarian Empire. The psychological and physical toll of the battle, combined with the loss of their leader, left the Bulgarians unable to mount a significant resistance against the Byzantine Empire. The victory at Kleidion solidified Basil II's reputation as a formidable and ruthless ruler, and it ensured Byzantine dominance in the region for years to come. The legacy of the Bulgar Slayer, a more secure Byzantium. Basil II continued to campaign against the Bulgarians. He finally crushed their resistance in 1018. The Bulgarian Empire, which had once threatened the very existence of Byzantium, was no more. Basil incorporated Bulgaria into the Byzantine Empire. He ruled it with an iron fist. Basil's victory had a profound impact on Byzantium. It removed a major threat. It secured Byzantium's northern border. This allowed Basil to focus on other matters. He strengthened the empire's finances. He reformed the legal system, and he promoted cultural life. A giant among emperors. Basil II and history's judgment. Basil II, also known as Basil the Bulgar Slayer, is one of the most intriguing figures in Byzantine history. His reign, which lasted nearly half a century, was marked by both great achievements and significant controversies. As we delve into his life and legacy, we must ask ourselves, was he truly a giant among emperors, or does history judge him more harshly? Basil II ruled Byzantium for almost 50 years. His reign began in 976 and lasted until his death in 1025. During this time, he faced numerous challenges, both from within the empire and from external threats. Yet he managed to navigate these turbulent waters with a combination of military prowess and political acumen. He was one of the longest reigning emperors in Byzantine history. His tenure on the throne was not just long, but also transformative. Under his rule, the Byzantine Empire reached new heights of power and influence. His ability to maintain control over such a vast and diverse empire is a testament to his skills as a leader. He left behind a more secure and prosperous empire. Basil II's military campaigns, particularly against the Bulgarians, expanded the empire's borders and secured its frontiers. His administrative reforms improved the efficiency of the government and increased the empire's wealth. The Byzantine Empire under Basil II was a formidable power in the medieval world. Basil was a complex figure. He was not just a warrior king, but also a shrewd politician. His reign was marked by a delicate balance of power, where he had to manage the ambitions of the aristocracy and the church while maintaining his authority. His ability to navigate these political intricacies is a testament to his intelligence and strategic thinking. He was a brilliant general, a shrewd politician, and a ruthless tyrant. His military campaigns were characterized by their strategic brilliance and ruthless efficiency. He was known for his ability to outmaneuver his enemies and achieve decisive victories. However, his methods were often brutal, and he did not shy away from using extreme measures to achieve his goals. He was responsible for acts of great cruelty. His most infamous act was the blinding of 15,000 Bulgarian prisoners after the Battle of Kleidion in 1014. This act of brutality earned him the nickname Bulgar Slayer and has cast a long shadow over his legacy. While some view it as a necessary act of war, others see it as a stain on his character. His blinding of the Bulgarian prisoners is a stain on his legacy. This act of cruelty has been debated by historians for centuries. Some argue that it was a calculated move to instill fear and maintain control, while others see it as an unnecessary and inhumane act. Regardless of the perspective, it remains one of the most controversial aspects of his reign. But he was also a dedicated ruler who strengthened his empire and secured its future. His administrative reforms and military successes laid the foundation for a period of stability and prosperity in the Byzantine Empire. His efforts to centralize power and reduce corruption helped to create a more efficient and effective government. Basil II, the Bulgar Slayer, remains a controversial figure. His legacy is a complex tapestry of achievements and atrocities. While he is celebrated for his military successes and administrative reforms, he is also remembered for his acts of cruelty and ruthlessness. This duality makes him one of the most fascinating and enigmatic figures in Byzantine history. He was a product of his time. The medieval world was a harsh and unforgiving place, and rulers often had to make difficult and brutal decisions to maintain their power and protect their realms. Basil II's actions, while extreme by modern standards, were not uncommon in the context of his time. He was a ruler who did what he believed was necessary to protect his empire. His decisions, whether in war or in governance, were driven by a desire to strengthen and secure the Byzantine Empire. While his methods were often harsh, they were effective in achieving his goals. But his legacy continues to fascinate and horrify us, centuries after his death. The story of Basil II is a reminder of the complexities of leadership and the difficult choices that rulers must make. His life and reign offer valuable lessons about power, ambition, and the human cost of empire building. He stands as a reminder of the power and the peril of absolute rule. Basil II's reign is a testament to the heights that can be achieved through strong leadership, but also a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power. His story is a powerful reflection on the nature of authority and the enduring impact of historical figures.